Thank you everyone for tuning in to today's episode of the Neil Coutts Show. Today's guest is Joey Biro. Joey was a frontman, a singer for one of Australia's biggest bands. As well as that, he's had his highs and lows in life. But without further ado, thank you very much for coming onto the show there, Joey.
Hey, thanks, Neil, for having us, man. Appreciate it.
You're welcome, brother. So, Joey, tell me a bit about yourself.
So I'm 39 years of age, and I'm a father of a 9-week-old little baby girl called Georgia Grace. I'm 6 years sober, 6.5 years sober, from a pretty, like a couple of decades worth of pretty serious addiction. I'm a mentor at a place called Elisha Care, and I work in a Christian ministry. And we give opportunities to people that come out of jail and long-term transition from rehabilitation. Say someone does like a year stint in rehab. We transition them into the community. We provide work for them, paid work. And our aim is to get them off Centrelink. And we've got a house and we house them and we train them up and we teach them life skills, teach them the Bible. I'm a Christian, devout Christian. And I get my hands involved in the mess, and I love to do that. So I'm a husband and, I'm a pretty happy guy these days,
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Congratulations as well, being a father, as well as, good on you for helping people reintegrate into society. So what basically started your passion for music there?
It started at a young age, I guess. My parents and my uncles, were involved in music. My parents involved in dancing and drinking, singing, and my uncle involved in playing guitar and rocking up the Angels with the long hair and Motley Crue and Iron Maiden and stuff like that. So bands like Silverchair, Metallica, Pantera, and then like on the other spectrum, like Boyz II Men, and so it was like quite a wide variety. But video hits and rage were my thing. I loved it. It was my escape. So I religiously watched those shows. So yeah, young age, man. Like I reckon, as old as I had to have been to understand music, I was just rocking straight into it.
Did you play any instruments?
No, not at a young age. I probably began to play the acoustic probably in 2007. Just to get like the real basic, like it was like 2 or 3 chords, and I used to cook everyone. You know what I mean? But when I was young, no.
But was it self-taught, or did you actually have an instructor that taught you how to play the guitar?
No, I was self-taught. I was very much in my own world, and so self-taught.
Was it easy to learn, or was it a challenge?
I guess step one was picking it up, and having a crack. And how you going? It's pretty depressing that I have to be around someone to write a song. So I was like, I want to do it alone.
Yeah, I get that.
And I want to be able to do it when I'm alone. And I spent quite a little bit of time alone back in my younger days. So I guess at about 23, 24, I started picking up the guitar. I'm like, this is cool. I'm enjoying it. So I started to write, on my own.
Oh, okay. So I know that from back in our old days, you started a band. Was that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right. And how did you go about that?
Which band did you mean?
The first band? Your first band.
So my first band was called Beyond Fear. Yeah. and I used to have long hair, and I was Mass Bogan.
Yeah.
And I had like really bad Hawaiian shirts and bad Mambo Time Lord shirts. And then we were a cover band.
Yeah.
And we just played nightclubs and pubs. And I was underage. So at 16, I started my first band. Then I joined From the Inside a couple of years later. And then we began to be an original band and recorded an EP.
Yeah.
And then I guess the next journey is probably, another question, or did you want me to talk about that?
Well, like, did you guys, when you said you did an EP, was it easy? Did you, do you have to, get into a studio, or did you do it in someone's back, garage or something like that?
Yeah, we did it in Keysborough. It was actually... we won this Battle of the Bands, and we were supposed to get like a trip to Disneyland, which never happened.
Oh.
So, but anyway, that's life. We won that battle of the bands, and like Vanessa Amorosi and all these other bands were in it.
Wow.
And we recorded an EP at a studio in Keysborough, and he's still going now, Marcello Larico.
Yeah.
So that was like, I guess when you love music and you love the people you're in a band with, and I guess, passion really flows from that love, when you're brothers and friends. Recording is fun, man. Like, if it's a chore, it's not fun. You know what I mean? There's no love in it, but it was fun. It was like, yeah, we won the competition, so we got this EP as a gift, which was cool.
Yeah.
And then it was awesome fun, man. And roughly it would have cost us probably back then $500 to shoot this. Yeah.
So did you end up doing a video or anything like that for that EP?
We did, man. For those of you watching from Noble Park, we filmed it at Noble Park train station, and we did a live gig at the venue at the skate park.
Yeah.
And we filmed, some of the footage was from there as well. Yeah. And it was the funniest clip ever.
Was there a few long nights involved making that video clip, or was it a quick one-shot type of thing?
Yeah, it was a quick. It was pretty low budget. Yeah, but it was still fun, man. It was still fun. We were young, we were pumped.
That's it. When you enjoy what you're doing, you really don't feel like you're working. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
yeah. So how did you get into from the inside? You said you joined them. Did they come out and scout you? Did you, basically put your voice out there for them to recruit you? How did that come about?
I had this guy called Ben, Ben was the guitarist of From the Inside, and Ben Licht, and he came to a gig, and he scouted me, and he was watching, and he's like, "Hey man, love your voice, mate." He was that like in the left hand side of the room, and I was just like, "Who is this dude?" And then he came up to me, and he's like, "Bro, I want to poach you." Basically, more or less, in adult terms now, I want to poach you. You're coming with us, Oh, wow. And I knew a couple of the guys from the band, and I was like, you know what, like, this sounds like a good opportunity, So that came about in Dandenong at this pretty seedy place. But
you're not talking about Liquid Nightclub, are you?
No, it was like this joint that was like down the road towards the train station, but on the same street, and it stopped existing a long time ago. I can't even remember what the name was, the place, but it was pretty classy.
So what was it like getting recruited into a band? Were you like really rap for that type of thing, or you're like, yeah, it's just another gig type of thing, we'll see what happens?
Well, that band was amazing because we became real super tight, and we built that band from, playing at the venue in Noble Park to like playing at the SB and Revolver and supporting like Superheist and supporting, the Test Eagles and supporting, bands like the Screaming Jets. And, so that was built from, when I look back now, I loved that band. I loved the music we were making. And if I look back, and I've got no regrets, right? But I'm just saying, I look back at the songs and the way that we gelled and the way that people were coming to our shows, and we started to build an underground following in the Melbourne new metal scene, whatever you want to call it. And it was really thriving, and we were going well, and I loved that band. We had amazing, how can I say, we gelled so well, and we literally built that from nothing. Wow. And it was a good feeling, man, to do that, and then obviously from that band on came the next step of my music career. But, it was a lot of hard work, but, I guess, there's, like I was talking before about, you love something, it's not a chore, right?
Yeah.
But when you want to succeed, you work hard,
Yeah,
you work hard, you put in the hours, you put in the rehearsals, you put in the writing sessions. It's like gigs, it's like battle, man. Like, there's so many good bands out there, and we worked hard, man. We put in a lot of time and effort into it, so it was a blessing, Yeah, it was a blessing, bro.
What was it like supporting these top Australian bands?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've never really been. It was amazing, of course, you know,
Yeah.
it's a privilege. But I've never really kind of been the person to go, oh my God, that, you know, that's that person, and you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that like this person's God and that person's that. Like, you know, just like, hey, dude, you're a dude, I'm a dude. You're a bit older, you're way more successful than me. You know, it was a privilege to support bands. I loved it, you know, but I was never like intimidated by it. I just went out there. We just went out there and we shone us from the inside, and we you know, we just put on display power. We put on display vulnerability, depth, passion. You know, it was powerful, man. And never really, you know, a couple of bands. I think Screaming Jets called us Limp Bizkit. You know, when they they kind of, you know, when they got on, they said, "Oh, everyone hands up for Limp Bizkit." Yeah, that's cool. No worries. But yeah, all these older guys were kind of, you know, there was a few douches, you know, back in the day, and yeah, they did treat us a little bit funny, but yeah, man, it was cool, you know, and everyone that came to watch us, all our fans were like, "What? You're playing with them?" We're just like, yeah, you know, they're just people.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I get
They're
that.
just people.
Yeah, no, I get
Yeah.
that. Was it easy, like getting the crowd ready type of thing? Because you guys are pretty much hyping up the crowd before the main event, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you're a support, you're either really good, really popular support, or you're and you got a good following, and you get like 100 and something people or 200 and something people at your show, and then there's like 500 people for Screaming Jets, or you know, or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So sometimes you don't get many fans in at all. Sometimes it's sold out, like Screaming Jets sold out. All these other bands like Superheist sold out, so you didn't get that many people through the door because it was already capacity.
Yeah.
So we just, like I said, man, we just went out there. We went as sick as we possibly could, put in everything we had, and a lot of the time, you know, somewhere in that ticker of the people, they would have been like, "Oh, those guys are all right," but I'm not here to see those guys.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, I get that.
Yeah, but yeah, no, look, man, it was. I think we, you know, we always did our job when we had to support someone, and yeah, man, we were pumped. You know?
So did you get many fans like asking for your autographs and stuff like that? Did you? Because you built a bit of a following, yeah.
When I was in Superheist, when I left from the inside and joined Superheist, yeah, there was heaps of signing, and you know, but it was, for me, it was like, you know, at the beginning, I was like, when I joined Superheist and left from the inside, like, bro, it was, yeah, that was like a dream, you know, come true for me, because I went from playing literally to like 50, 100 people to playing to like 20,000 people, you know, and then like 50,000 people at the big day out. Like, so the transition was massive, dude. And, you know, over time it took its effect on me, you know, in terms of, you know, was the music the most important thing? Well, at the end of that experience? Well, no, it wasn't, you know, like I was a young kid, and they were all like 11 years my senior, and I was just beginning to sort of see what it's like to, you know, get an ego, you know, and trip on your ego and forget what it's all about. It's about the message, the passion, inspiring people and building up hope for their generations. But it was completely the opposite to that, you know. Yeah, it was a pretty dark sort of experience towards the end.
Yeah.
And the music wasn't very encouraging, you know. So, yeah.
So, how did you get into Superheist? How did that come about?
Or from the inside, the second band I was in, we ended up doing an EP with DW, the guitarist of Superheist. He, like I said, we started developing a cult following, and DW come and watched the set, and he's like, "Man, I like these guys." Anyway, he said he would record our EP, and then we got the national support. So we supported Superheist in 3 shows, not national, Victorian support, regional support.
Yeah.
And we did 3 shows with them. On the third show, the lead singer Roderick McLeod, aka Burger, who was the first original singer of Superheist, couldn't sing a show, and it was at Berwick Community Centre. It was like 1,000 people.
Wow.
And we played first, then another race played second. And I remember it clearly. I had my backpack on, and I and I had my friends with me, and we had our like little stash of weed in the car, and we were like ready to watch Superheist and then go and get high. You know what I mean? my mates were like, "You're playing with Superheist, bro. That was so sick." And I was, of course, like a big fan, of Superheist. I don't know if you guys know, but I was a massive fan of Superheist, and I knew majority of the songs and the lyrics.
Yeah.
So I'm like, listen, side stage, pump for Superheist, man. And they come up and they ask Wes from another race, "Hey, Wes, do you know the lyrics?" And Wes is like, "Nah, bro, I don't know the lyrics. Probably been out smoking a spliff anyway, and probably, no, I don't know the lyrics, bro." And and then he come and asked me, and he's like, "Joey, do you know the lyrics? Burger can't sing, and we've got 1,000 kids yelling Superheist, Superheist." And I'm like, I know the lyrics. So anyway, I got up, smashed out a set as best as I could, and and yeah, then they asked me after that show. That was crazy, and then they asked me, they rang me on the way home, and they said, "Can you do Channel V national live on Channel V, 3 shows?"
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I have to ring my band and talk to them, of course. And then I rang them, and they were a bit hesitant because I was a bit worried that I was going to be poached, as I was poached from theatres from the inside.
Yeah.
And anyway, we did it. We thought, hey, this would be good promo for the band. It'll be Joey Biro, frontman from the inside, filling in, rah, until Burger gets better. Anyway, by the second show, they offered me the position full time of Superheist frontman. So I was 21, and yeah, dude, it was like, am I seriously dreaming? Is what's going on? Like, you know what I mean? Like, when you like have to slap yourself.
Yeah, no, that just gave me chills. That I could imagine, it's almost like all your Christmases come at once. A band basically you yourself aspired to, or they were like, how can I say, they were like your idols in some way. Considering especially that you listen to their music, you knew all their lyrics, and then to be given that role, to be the frontman for them, it would have been massive for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was huge, man. It was huge.
So did you go home and tell the family and everything about that?
Yeah, well, yeah, my family have, my mother in particular has an amazing intuition.
Yeah.
Whether you want to call it a spiritual gift or whatever. And, she had this vibe, and I rang her, and she was so happy, and it's like she'd already knew, and I just said, "Look, Mum, I got some news for you," I told her. And we were just, the family was spinning out, like, signing a 3-album deal with Shock Records, and, the man I am today, I could just say this, and, I kind of, it's like, there's no regrets, you know what I mean? But when I look back at the band that was building from the inside, they got another singer, and they went on to do well. They're not together anymore. Another singer, he was amazing, Adrian, and my brother was in that band from the inside. And it's like I look back now, I'm like, man, it happened, it's over, it's done. No regrets. I'm not going to live in misery.
Yeah.
But yeah, having looked back, there's more loyalty, in my life as an adult now. And had I been offered that position now, I wouldn't take it. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. It happens. But yeah, that was a buzz, man. My family was spinning out. I was like, oh man, everyone was like, Joey, and I was like, what? Couldn't believe it.
So what was it like touring with Superheist? Did you have a lot of responsibilities? Was it a hectic schedule? Did it take a lot out of your personal life? What was it like?
Yeah, it was go. When we were on tour, it was full on. Like we were going, man. We'd go and do 15 shows in like 20 something days. 15 shows in 20 days, or
wow.
And yeah, in between that, there'd be radio at times, shooting a clip. There'd be in-store signings. There'd be rehearsals, demos, recordings, stuff like that. It was full on. I like to keep as professional as possible before shows and not get wasted before shows.
Yeah.
So I was like very much like black tea, no sugar, ginger, before a gig, or soup or something like that before a show. And then, try and not drink, anything cold directly after it. But that was very hard when I, come off stage and I was thirsty, and especially when there was a party rocking and there was a crowd building and the parties at the hotel, and So it was like go, go, go. I did have a lot of responsibility to keep myself safe and look after my throat, considering the amount of, the vocal prowess of a burger that I had to, uphold. I had to uphold a standard. So yeah, I'm kind of glad I didn't smash it as much as I could have, because I would be a lot worse. Where,
Yeah, no, I get
than I
that.
am now.
Yeah, no. So,
Yeah.
being a frontman for a band, is it essential to really take care of your voice? Is it? I always thought it was just go out and smash it out and continue on with life.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you want vocal nodules and you want to damage and strain your larynx,
Yeah,
and it's actually absolutely important to learn how to control your voice. It's absolutely important to warm up, warm down. It's absolutely important, to not drink cold things before you sing and directly after you sing. Some people can do it while they're superhuman freaks. I'm not a superhuman freak.
Yep.
Some people just get wasted and just smash lines or whatever they want to do, before shows, and then don't really feel it. And then straight after the gig, they're into the booze. So they're just like,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I always had that, thing inside me, like that kind of like not fear, but like, I don't know, it's a privilege, man, to be doing this, and there's people out there that, that want to come and listen to something that sounds like a CD. So, yeah, man, like, we've got a responsibility as frontmen, to look after our voice and to provide a good show for people that come and pay to watch. So, that's my answer now. Back then in the day,
Yeah.
when I was young, I was a douchebag, you know what I mean? So I've been like, bro, don't worry about warming up, mate. Yes, but I still cared, I still cared to a degree.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely important, Neil, definitely.
Well, it was like, it would have been like, basically, you wouldn't want the ride to end, yeah? And the ride would end early, yeah, if you didn't take care of yourself. Is that right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I guess to a point it did, it did towards the end,
Yeah.
It did end pretty
rough, did it?
It didn't end the best. Yeah.
So, with all the touring commitments and the signings and stuff like that, the appearances, did it take a toll on you?
Yeah, it did, man. I mean, like I said, if I'm, a father or a minister or a mentor, my passion is for my child. If I'm a father, my passion is to lay my life down.
Yeah.
For my child, my passion is to lay my life down for people I'm mentoring, and give them my whole heart while I'm there.
Yeah.
The danger of not doing that is that, you start committing to many, many different things when you're only supposed to commit to one thing.
Yeah.
And it took its toll on me, brother, because I wasn't, towards the end, I was young. It was full on sex, full on drugs, full on rock and roll. And it was like the high life, staying in nice hotels, all the alcohol, the drugs you can think of, man. Whatever food we wanted, it was there. Cheese pizza, vegetarian pizza, chili, supreme, this, that, cheese, this, that, slab of Stella, slab of Corona, bottle of vodka, bottle of bourbon, bottle of this, Red Bulls, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So what, things were just getting thrown at you, basically. You didn't have to pay or worry about having to pay for these things. It was like a buffet, was it, of all these sort of alcohol, drugs, junk food? Was it like that?
Yeah, it was like that. I mean, not even so much junk food. I mean, the food was good quality,
Yeah.
We had some guys in the band that were pretty picky about what they ate, so we got to eat pretty good, which is cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was like, like I said, brother, the focus, everything started to get to me, you know what I mean? And I started to, my mind and my heart and my spirit started to transfer, started to, diminish, and I started to not think about things, and I was like, yeah, stuff the band, stuff the guys, I want to go off with this chick and pay for this and go and pay for that and do this and do that, and then just take advantage of all the drugs and go and hang out with these guys that were dealers or like bouncers and whatever, and getting in fights and stuff like that and trashing things, and it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, mate, come home from the show and you've got a privilege to do this, Joseph, and Instead, you're being a douchebag. You know what I mean? So this is what started to really, it started to tax me, man, take its toll, and then I got more unhealthy, you know what I mean, and more addicted to drugs and more spiraling out of control and more angry and more like rebellious and more like, stick the finger up and tell everyone they can get stuffed and
Yeah.
who are you, mate? I'm Joey Biro from Superheist. That kind of thing really did start to happen, and with the band, and we started to be like that with each other, and I started to be like that with a little bit with family too, and I was like coming home as a broken dude, man. So yeah, like a lot of sorry.
No, that's all right. Keep going.
I'm just saying, like a lot of sleepless nights, and lots of weed and lots of beer and lots of vodka and just getting whacked, man, like taking pills and coke and it just like I'm talking smorgasbords of things, and they were just always there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like they were just always there. If I went to Melbourne, my Melbourne buddies were there that I used to use with back in the day, and they were feeding me because I was Joey from Superheist. And I went to Sands Tavern in Maroochydore, mate, on tap. Brisbane on tap. Sydney, not so much. But these places where it was just there, alcohol was free, everything was free. The bar would stay open, and there'd be parties at the bars, and there'd be girls around. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I get that. So, did you end up going overseas with Superheist?
Yeah, we did. We went to America to do some showcases through Gary Avila, who was Papa Roach's manager. He believed in us, and he paid for us to go up there through Shock, and we went and did some showcases. We played the Viper Room and the Roxy.
Oh wow!
And we did some shows up there, and we thought we were going to get signed up in LA, but we didn't end up getting signed there. So
did it? When you went overseas, was the whole drug abuse type of thing, did it get much worse? Because I believe in America it's pretty accessible out there, yeah?
Yeah. I wasn't there. Fortunately, I wasn't there long enough to get to know people. We were there to be professional and to play showcases, and we were like, we were flown up there for business, and it was business. So it was like, you guys play the best of your ability, and let's nail it and let's get signed. So it was like we were only there for a couple of weeks, so we didn't stay long.
Okay, so you didn't get to tour with any bands up there or anything like that?
No.
Oh, that's all good. It's a pretty big achievement just playing for Superheist. But when did you come to the self-realization that you were going overboard with what you were participating with, all the sex, booze, drugs type of thing? When did you come onto the realization, it's taking its toll?
It was about 4:30 in the morning. Oh no, yeah. The beginning was it was 2005 or 2006. We were in Queensland, and we were doing an X Games, which is a BMX like extreme games tour. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror, thinking, "Man, I'm like skin and bone."
Yeah.
And I'm like 120 kilo dude, 6'1.5". Like, I was born big, and I'm big. I'm a big dude now, but I was like skin and bone. And I remember, just smashing these E's with these young punks that were riding around their bikes. No, not young punks, but young dudes, or young punks basically. And they were just like smashing bags of E's, and we were just. And I remember my vision being completely blurred because I was so wasted on ecstasy, and we were just trashing the bar downstairs, and everyone was like freaking out because we were just like, we were like squim faced, our eyes were bubbling out of our heads. And I remember when the sun came up and the police came and a couple of people got arrested.
Yeah.
Going back to my room, looking at myself in the mirror, thinking, and I don't feel anything, Like, I don't feel anything. Like, again, my wife said this during her testimony. She's like, the wind was blown straight through me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I was nothing. Like, my soul was, I was hurting, man. Like, I was a pretty messed up dude. Like, and I was on, like, night after night and night after night on the ice pipe, on the, on the E's. And I really started to feel empty and hollow, And we finished that tour, and I had a fight with the keyboardist for Tar, and we nearly punched on, and we broke down on a freeway on the way back, and I remember thinking, this is the lowest. I have nothing. I'm so dehydrated. I haven't slept. I'm so tired and weary. My soul is weary. And I remember messaging my mum and saying, I need to talk to you, Mum, when I get home, And I was like, I got home and I'm like, Mum, I can't do this anymore, Like, I don't even know who I am anymore. Like, I'm broken,
Yeah.
And then I decided that I was going to leave the band, and I left, and yeah, so it all happened, man.
Was it a hard decision to make to leave the band?
I guess being so frazzled and scattered and so empty made it a bit easier,
Yeah.
The guys in the band, there's a couple of guys in the band I still talk to, and we're all still, we're all still amicable. They said, we should have taken a bit more care of you, because you were young and we were like 10, 11 years older than you. And I'm just like, yeah, you know what, maybe you probably should have, but you didn't. And I maybe I wouldn't have listened to you anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I made that decision after that tour, and our music was starting to, really suffer. We were starting to play some pretty bad shows, and I was starting to, struggle with my vocals big time. So that's kind of what happened.
So you basically felt that you're at your lowest moment at that point in time. Did the drugs, was it hard to come away from the drugs? Did you feel trapped with that? Did it take a hook on you at all when you left the band? Was it easy to rehabilitate?
I didn't rehabilitate. After that, the drugs kept going up until age 33, and I didn't stop. And being in Superheist, from Superheist, having that reputation, people still wanted to give me drugs. People still wanted to give me massive amounts of drugs so I could sell it, because I knew people and people knew me and they wanted to know me and they wanted to hang around me and I could sell, drugs. So I began dealing and I began becoming addicted to meth in a massive way. And from that time on, all the way till age 33, I had a massive addiction to methamphetamine, to ice, as they know ice. They definitely, the drugs got me, man. They kept me longer than I wanted to stay and made me pay a lot more than I was willing to pay. But
Okay, no, I get that.
Yeah, it was prison it was a prison, mate, for quite some time.
Wow, so it really trapped you in the drugs, yeah? Once you left that band, it came into it. Well, it was still part of your life. Did you feel trapped in it? Was it easy to get out?
Oh man, it was. No man, you'd think after being punched in the head by Mike Tyson once, that you wouldn't go back in the ring with him, But I just kept going, mate, and I just kept going and just kept going, and it was party, 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 awake, wake. I would be awake at times for at the start for 5 days straight, you know what I mean? Then sleep for one day, then get up and do it again and party again. And then, I'd just be continually stretching my capacity, as a human to do life. And drugs were just my everyday thing. Work, drugs at work, selling drugs at work, weekends during the week. It became like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, losing jobs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I was trapped, bro. I was trapped. And it was hard.
So reintegrating into society had its challenges, yeah?
Yeah, totally. In order to reintegrate into society, you mean from Superheist?
Well, from Superheist, still having all the drugs around you, but then having to work a normal 9 to 5.
Oh, yeah, I got into removals with my brother. Yeah, that was I guess in a sense, Neil, it was quite easy because, once again I came out and being in Superheist and everyone wanted to know me, and I just took advantage of it.
Fair enough.
So it was, I mean.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically everyone wanted you to be part of their group because they could say that, the one, got Joey from Superheist in my group type of thing, and I guess everyone else would feel good, you know, and they would love to talk to you about all the stories you would have to share with them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and yeah, and I continued doing a bit of music with a couple of guys and doing a couple of little bands, you know, a little bit after that. So yeah, it was still very much sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but maybe not on a bigger scale. But the drugs definitely ramped up, you know.
Yeah.
My drug use ramped up, you know.
So how did you pull yourself away from it when you got to 33?
So I became an IV user. I was actually IV using towards the fragment and end of Superheist.
Yeah.
And no one knew. And about when I was 30, it all just went and exploded, and I became psychotic, violent, angry, you know, people, family, my mum, my brother, my sister, my family, you know, started seeing, hey, man, something's not right with Joey.
Yeah, I get
like
that.
on a big scale. And, I remember being psychotic and selling ice, and then I had troubles with dealers, and because I was using just a ridiculous amount of meth. And, I, borrowed money off my brother to pay back dealers, and my brother's like, hey, man, like, this isn't going to happen much longer. And when I was about 30, it all exploded. Just over 30, and I went crazy at my mum, and basically in my psychosis, told my mum I was going to kill her.
Oh, wow.
And grabbed a knife out. She called the police. The police were on their way. I had these charges on me, so I didn't want to get locked up. So I jumped in my car, packed my car, left. Intervention order, 2 years, put on by the police for 1 year, actually.
Yeah.
And then it got extended to 1 year. So I basically left my house with my family, who were like beautiful people. And then hit the streets in my little Barina, you know.
Yeah.
And packed my car, mate, and I hit the streets. And for that time onwards till 33, I was in and out of drug dens, living in my car, living on the streets. I had everything in my car, all my car windows smashed in, all my possessions stolen, speakers, instruments, clothes, money, drugs. I got ripped off by dealers. I got set up and poisoned, bro. Like, I mean, I saw some things that, you probably wouldn't even, if I told you, you wouldn't believe it, you know?
Yeah.
Some things probably best kept, it's secret. But up until all that time, man, I went to my lowest at 33. I was living in and out of Coringal, Frankston, and Langwarrin.
Yeah.
And I couldn't see my family. My niece had just been born, and I couldn't see her be born. I couldn't be there. It broke me, man. Broke me. And then I remember I was with this guy, and we didn't have drugs. I was literally living out of like a little tiny bag. I stunk. I hadn't showered for 2 weeks. I had hepatitis C. I was sick and malnourished, and I reeked,
Yeah.
And I became like this homeless dude,
Yeah.
And I remember getting on my knees, and I remember holding my phone. I was going to smash my phone to pieces because it was just about to run out. I had no money, and I wanted drugs, and I couldn't get drugs. And I yelled out up at the sky, and I said, "If you're beeping real,"
Yeah.
and I called God every single name under the sun. I said, "Yeah, you reckon that's who you are?" Rah. I lost it.
Yeah.
And I called him every name under the sun. And I said, "If you're real, get me out of this mess. I want to die.
Yeah.
I don't want to live anymore. I don't want to live anymore. If I'm going to live, help me." And I cried and I cried and I cried. And this bloke just left because he thought I was going to kill him.
Yeah.
So I was on my own. It was freezing cold, man. I was like out the front of this like kindergarten, and I remember thinking, this is the lowest. This is the lowest. Then a friend, Russell Warren, rang me the next morning on my phone because I went to a shopping centre and charged my phone next to a vending machine.
Yeah.
And he rang me and he said, "I've just been with your mum, bro. What are you doing? You need to change your life." So I rang my family. I said, "I'm sorry, I had to become that broken to find humility,
Yeah.
and I just reached out and I said, "Look, I need help. I need rehab, and I want back. I miss you guys. I love you guys. I'm so sorry for everything I've done. Please help me." And yeah, long story short, they took me in, and I attempted my third detox, which the detoxes I did were before I left home, and I failed 2 of them to stay clean.
Yep.
And then I got a message from the detox saying, if you get a follow-up for a rehab, we'll take you in. But if you don't get a follow-up for a rehab, you're not coming back because you've been here. This is your 3rd time, you know.
Yeah.
So I made some phone calls, and the only rehab that would take me in straight away was a Christian rehabilitation centre called Rema Australia.
Yep.
And the pastor of that facility said he would come and visit me in detox, and we would have a chat and basically like an interview. And if he thought I was, you know, the fitting person for this place, he would take me in. And I ended up going into rehab on the 4th of the 5th, 2014.
Okay. So through a series of scary moments in your life, basically you hit rock bottom, yeah? And that's what took you to change, basically. You reached out to God, and he does work in wonderful ways, you know. He works in some really big ways, like you would never expect it. But I guess, you know, you went and charged your phone the next day, and then you had a phone call from Russell, which basically led you onto the path of recovery, yeah? And
Yeah.
was it demoralizing having to go back to your family and reach out for help through them?
Oh man, I was so ashamed. Yeah, I mean, I guess the outworking of that shame didn't really happen until I went into rehab and got some counsel, until the Lord started to really move in my heart and move in my life and give me a new heart, you know.
Yeah.
But it was demoralizing, man. It was, you know, it was tough to go back and you know, for them to see me the way I was, man. Like I was a zombie, man. You know, like, I mean, yeah, like all my teeth were gacked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All my teeth are fixed. All my teeth are fixed now, you know, praise God. But yeah, they were gacked, man. I was, you know, this little Joey, it wasn't little Joey anymore, man. I was like Junkie Joe, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
Junkie Jojo, mate, from the Pines, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it was embarrassing.
So,
yeah.
You know, you really needed to have some counselling. It was important for you to have counselling to get through it, was it?
Yeah. You know, it was this thing about shame, you know, it's like, and, you know, for me being able to forgive myself, I always say to the people I mentor now, you know, how can I be merciful if I have not mercy?
Yeah.
How can I forgive myself if I've not been forgiven?
Yeah.
I can't. You know, it's like there's this wall, this concrete thing, you know, inside our heart, you know, and the counsel I got was more from the Spirit and the Word, and my time alone with God in the room in prayer, and I guess my repentance, you know, of saying sorry, you know, to God for what I did, you know, when I began to understand the gospel. And I heard the gospel and I saw the kindness of God in the gospel, man, that shame was dealt with in a supernatural way. And I just can't explain it, man. Like it's divine. It's a divine work and I cannot explain it. Like I really can't, you know, like it's just, yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. He works in many interesting ways, God does. Some people, you know, they don't look towards God. You know, they're resentful of God from their hard moments. But I guess once you open your heart, he works in many ways, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
so,
I do, man.
Was it challenging to go through the rehab process?
Yeah, it definitely was. You know, I guess the thing that was most challenging was my character. You know, being told what to do. By a heap of missionaries that, you know, come from Spain and Portugal who don't particularly speak the best English. And like this was a full-on rehab. Like it was like no swearing, no medication, no mobile phone, no going home and calling who you want, one phone call a week, No Triple M, no playing Pearl Jam on your acoustic guitar, no playing Superheist on your acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
Don't bring up your old life. Mate, like the guitar was taken from me when I got there, so this is like stuff like this is what time you go to bed, this is what time you wake up, this is what job you do. Today you clean the toilets, tomorrow you rake up the leaves, the next day you cook for 27 people, lunch and dinner. Pardon me. It was like they were at me, mate. They were at me, and I needed it, man. I needed it because I was a law unto myself, and this rebellion nearly destroyed me. I was like doing my thing my way, with who I want, when I want, where I want. You know what I mean? And it was nothing good was coming out of it. But yeah, this place really ruffled my feathers, man. And they developed my character. There's a scripture that says, hardship develops perseverance, perseverance develops character, character hope.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
So if you would have felt like initially that your freedoms were being taken away from you, but what came out of it in the end was much better for yourself and your character than what was before, yeah?
Oh, dude, totally. Like I literally, and some people say you get to a certain point where you're tired of drugs. Well, I know 60-year-olds that are on ice, mate. Now I mentor 50, 60-year-olds that are on ice. So people can't tell me, it's an age thing. No, it's not. It's a time thing, man. And when you get tired, and when enough's enough, man. How many warning signs do people need? I was so cooked. I needed like 700 warning signs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I nearly died, man. Like, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I definitely, I started coming home, visiting my family, and at the start they would lock their doors and they would hide the purses and hide the car keys and hide the wallets and all that stuff, and then I began to come home and they could see, like, they could hear, they could feel, they could truly witness the work of the Holy Spirit in my life, and that I was becoming gentle, peaceful, loving, kind, gracious, and forgiving, and faith. I had faith, and I had hope, and they could see this, and I was like, and they were like, who is this guy? And could it be God that's done the work? Because I just kept telling him, hey, it's God, it's God, it's God, And they're like, at the start, they're like, I think Joey's lost it. Like, he's gone into rehab to get clean, but he's come out even more cooked, because he's religious now. Religious, that word religious, as people use. But, they started to see, and, my greatest thing was, if things got too hard, too difficult, I'd just get angry, I would lose my shit, and I would just run. You know what I mean? Like, no, bro, you can't tell me what to do, rah, 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 and it was that shame again, that anger, that fear, acting out. And, but, I started to humble myself, and I'm like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
I've done something wrong. I get the discipline. I do the dishes for a week. I don't go and make phone calls. Okay. I don't go to the gymnasium. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I'll do it. I'll give over my guitar. I'll do it. Okay. My mum can't visit me on Sunday. Okay. I'll do it. No worries. And I just started to submit, submit to my elders, respect my elders. And, and I started to figure out over time, after, about a year doing the program, that all my shifty things are falling away.
Yeah.
My smoking cigarettes, behind the sheds and that, and, acting like the hallelujah Christian, and just puffing away, being a leader, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got caught, busted, it hurt, and I was like, man, I'm not a deceiver anymore. I'm not a liar anymore. I'm better than this. I don't need, I'm done with this. I caught my discipline, and I quit all the shifty business, and then I started really following the Lord,
That's yeah, I get that. Once you submit and open your heart, you're more inclined to do greater things and not try and shy away and be the person that you want to be. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. That's it. Yeah. It's good, man. I mean, I'm talking to these people when I came into Rema, you know, these guys were, you know, all from Portugal and Spain, and they were all guys that come out of horrific addiction, you know.
Yeah.
They loved me like I needed to be loved. And they disciplined me like I needed to be disciplined. And they heard me as much as I needed to be heard, and then they told me to shut up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
It was like I went there at the start and I was like, this back in the day and moving this and moving announcers and rah, rah, rah. And they just like, so what? You know, like,
Yeah.
who cares, brother? You know, it's your old life, you know, just stop boasting about rubbish and say something that edifies, you know what I mean? And slowly, you know, I started to understand, you know, hey, like, yeah, I'm way out. I'm out there, man. I need to come down to the ground before I start interacting with him. You know, I need to humble myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I came in with nothing. I had no money in my bank. I had no plan A, plan B. I had no plan C. Mate, if I didn't do rehab, I was back on the streets again.
Yeah.
And I would rather kill myself. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I was so close to suicide. I would much rather have been dead than go back out there again. So if I couldn't make rehab, that was it for me. So I'm so glad that the Lord met me in that place, you know, and came to me, you know, when I had nothing. I had nothing to give him.
Yeah.
I had nothing to give him, dude. Like nothing. I literally had nothing, man. I didn't even have 2 cents that the widow gave, you know, in the parable. You know, I didn't even have the 2 cents, mate. I had nothing.
Yeah.
Just a bundle of bones, mate. That's it. You know, rotten, filthy bones.
So how long was the rehabilitation process? Did it take a year or 2 years? Was it an easy road?
No, it was hard work. It was hard work. The most effective thing for me was becoming real and vulnerable, and in my prayer time was just saying, Lord God, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you're about, but I need you to fix me. I need a miracle. I need a miracle. I need a miracle now. I need it here. And I just started to read the word, and I started to seek him, and I started to pray. Every night I started to pray, get on my knees and pray and humble myself. And I would cry and repent and cry and say sorry. And he would show me pictures of my mother in agony and crying. And there's a lot of people to say sorry to in that time. And, you know, I was working during the day, getting up early in the morning, 4 o'clock, reading my word for 3 hours, you know, do a devotional every morning. And I did 14 months on my own, in the rehab. It's only supposed to be a year.
Yeah.
I did 14 months, and then I spoke to the co-pastor, and he said to me, Joseph, you're ready. And I said, Pastor, I need to pray and talk to you. And I said, I feel like I'm not ready yet. I feel like I need to stay longer. And he said, why you want to stay longer? And I said, I want to get closer to God. I want to be strong in my faith when I leave here so I don't fall.
Yeah.
So I stayed on as a leader, not a pastor, but a leader, till 23 months. And I stayed there 23 months. And I stayed that little bit longer because I only wanted to do rehab one time. I watched people come and go in that space, mate, when I was there 23 months, 4 or 5 times.
Oh, wow.
Nothing worse than seeing a dog return to its vomit, right? You know, the people that are watching are like, what?
Yeah.
So I just thought, no, I'm doing this once. I'm doing it properly. Yeah. So I left, you know, by that stage I was teaching the word on Tuesday nights in the church and sharing the gospel in the mornings with the guys 1 day a week. And I was helping organise the jobs. I was like mentoring guys. I was like counselling guys and just loving on dudes that came in that were messed up like me when I started. And yeah, I was a chef in there. I learned how to cook, learned how to play tennis. You know, I learned how to love my family. I met my beautiful wife to be in that last 3 months I was there at Rema. Yeah, man, like I stayed longer because I needed to, and I knew in my heart, you know, I needed to stay longer. So I did the 23 months.
So you ended up towards the end of it, you really stayed longer so you could really learn to love yourself. And I think the word is what I heard today is self-love. where you actually take care of yourself and be a better person, right?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. And I guess, when I received love that I didn't deserve, I could then give love that people didn't deserve. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Because when we're wetbags, man, we don't deserve love. But when I was at the lowest, darkest point of my life, this God, creator of the universe, who like had every reason to go, this unholy fool, you know what I mean? Who is this unholy fool, mate? This junkie, you know what I mean? But love me to bits, mate. And I counted his love, and I wept, and I wept, and I wept, and I wept, and yeah. So yeah, but what you're saying is right, bro. It's self-love, receiving this beautiful love and then being able to give it out is what it's all about, right? Whatever religion you follow, without love, we're just a noisy cymbal, mate. Just gong making noise, yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. So because God's love for us is it's like our mother's love, and they're always forgiving, but you need to face up to them first. If you're going to turn your back on them, then it's not easy to get that love. And it's the same with your mum. She took you back in, and so basically, you got to face them and be willing to go to them, and they'll reciprocate that love back.
Yeah, bro. Totally. What you're saying is absolutely right. It's a confession. It's owning your crap, owning your stuff and owning your mistakes, man. Saying, hey, yeah, I messed up. I'm sorry, but it's not for me. It's not only saying you're sorry, because I can tell you I'm sorry, but not show you I'm sorry.
Yeah,
and people know you're sorry when you show you're sorry. You know what I mean? Talk's cheap, man. Totally, bro.
So was tough love, from what I hear, with the did you say it was disciples, right, from Portugal and Spain and stuff like that?
Yeah.
They obviously they dealt out a lot of tough love, right? Was that a essential part of the process that helped you get back on your feet? And is it something, I guess, everyone needs to be open and aware of and be willing to receive if they want to make change?
Mate, I'm so sure about that. 100%, bro. 100%. Easy, short answer, man. It's definitely we need to be ruffled, mate. We need to be challenged. You know what I mean? And the pride needs to be broken. The shame needs to be broken. The anger and the arrogance and the it's the world's fault. My mum and dad's fault. I'm a victim, playing the victim. You know what I mean? Yeah. That definitely needs, iron sharpens iron, just as one man sharpens another, and I definitely needed it, man, 100%.
So, just to recap a bit, right? From the moment you reached, you went into rehab or you went into detox to now, what would be the main pointers, I guess you would say, someone they have to be aware of if they want to make change in their life?
What would be the main things that have to be aware of?
Yeah, and you have to do basically if you want to make change. What is it that you need to do? Do you need to first admit your wrongs and stuff like that? What would be your things?
Yeah, totally. Well, number one, you need to reach out. You need to reach out. You need to understand you can't do it alone. You need to reach out. You need to speak it out. You need to speak to somebody. For me, it was coming to the end of myself, and I had no other options. You need to reach out. You need to follow up things that you say you're going to. So if you go and reach out to someone, a family member, you need to say, I need help. I can't do this alone. Then you need to do everything that you need to do. Even it's so hard. It's so hard. I know the last thing you want to do when you're messed up is appointments, is go and face people. You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to reach out and you've got to do whatever you need to do and listen to those people you reach out to and let them lead you and let them help you get to a place where you can get well. Then you need to make a promise to yourself and stick it out. I mean, 1 year of hard work, man, rebuilding these walls that have been laid to crumble on the ground around you. 1 year of hard work, just think about it, and the rest of your life, or 2 years of hard work. When you've been on ice for that many years or however long, man, it doesn't get fixed in 3 days. This is important too. Don't just think it's going to happen overnight. A lot of people, they're not patient, and this is what this time does in rehab for me is it builds character and it builds patience and it builds hope. Routine is important. Routine, exercise is important. As an addict, you also need to make good habits now. You need to replace your addictions. You need to rehab. Go to a rehab and get well. Maybe you don't want to do it, but I'm telling you now, the evil in this world will do everything it can to keep you away from getting well. And our excuses are attached to our flesh. And, if you don't know what flesh is, it's this filthy, stinking meat. But our spirit is strong and willing, you know. And when our spirit connects with his spirit, we have a Father in heaven who can actually do the miracle. I prayed this, give me the desire to hate ice. Give me the desire to hate ice because I've seen what it's done to me. I've seen what it's done to my family. And I'm seeing what it's doing to society and community these days. I'm seeing 17-year-old kids wrestle 4 cops, high on ice. Well, that's just not normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, so reach out, number one.
Yep.
Get away from the people who you've been using with. Get away. Go somewhere far away, even if it's in the state. Get away. Get rid of your Facebook. Gone. See you later. Don't dig it back up again. New Facebook, even if you have to do a new name and add the people that are helping you recover, that are good for you. Every addict, there's a little chart, at the bottom of the chart here is the addict, and here above is the good people, and the drugs is just above the good people, right? The addict will always go around the good people to get to the drug, right?
Yeah.
Always. And then dodge the family to get back to being by himself. Away, drugs, bad community. Away from the family, back to being by himself. This is what happens. Isolation, drugs. All the good people are here. So what has to happen is the addict has to go away and spend time up here in rehab and change. And then come down to the good community, which is right here, and surpass the rubbish and come back alone again and be happy, content by himself. So, it's a matter of getting good people around you, people that have been there, people that understand the pain, addiction, and the sickness of the addict, and the pain and the shame and the sorrow of the heart of the addict. So I think that's the key thing is, okay, so reach out, get in a rehab, get good people around you, change your friends, man. If you got the same friends when you get back out, you're gone.
Yeah, I get that.
I have to get rid of all of them, man. It
would have been heartbreaking, to have to just drop those people and find new friends, because you sort of, I wouldn't say you feel like you're missing out, but it's like you're letting go of something that, even though you know it's good for you, you don't really want to let go of it, yeah?
Well, at the start, maybe in the first little bit. No, actually, when I got to rehab, I was actually in a place of everything has to go. I can't put old furniture items in a new house and expect it to be a new place. I've got to put new furniture in it. You know what I mean? I've got to paint. I've got to go to a new joint. where the funny thing is, a lot of them friends are still in the same way. They're still going around the same sort of circles, still using and stuff like that. And for me to let go was pretty easy because it was like, I either want my life or my family back, and I'm done with the drugs, mate. everything that needs to go has to go, and I've got no other choice. So at that time for me, it was pretty easy to let go of them. Now I still see them, and we're still like, I'm still, willing. Some people reach out for help, and that's cool. That's what I'm here for now, is to help those guys to get, to a good place, like I am now. I'm in a good place, So, I still reach out and talk to old friends now, and, I'm strong enough now to talk with them and meet up with them for a coffee, and I won't have to have a bong, and I won't have to smoke ice, and I won't have to get smashed or wasted on the grog with them, you know what I'm saying? Or have a cig, you know what I mean? Like, So, yeah, I'm strong enough now.
So I just got to ask you, how good are those the new memories you're making now since you've given up all those, how could I say, all the drugs and stuff like that, the negative behaviour? How good is life now?
Oh, bro, you know what? I'm more like loopy and crazy than I've ever been. Like, my wife just she's like, you're too much. Oh, my energy levels are crazy. And man, like, I look back now and I go, I prayed for a miracle. I got a miracle.
Yeah.
Every day for me is a miracle, man. Like, I got a beautiful wife, Nicole. She's amazing. So blessed. What a beautiful heart. I got a beautiful stepson, Max. He's 11 in December. I got a 9-week-old beautiful daughter. I've got a purpose. I've got a new band, a Christian band called Raised. It's we're writing at the moment. We've got about 7 songs going on. The music's beautiful. It's a message of hope for people. It's about going from dark to light. It's using my story. I go to churches. I share my story with people on radios. I share my story on this place called Real Faith on Vision Radio. Man, everything's about just giving back, like you said, bro. Now, these memories are. I tell you what, the servant will always be satisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing, bro.
Look, I really appreciate your time coming onto the show. You know what? When you do, after all this COVID stuff finishes, you got to let me know, and I'll come out and see you perform when you do have a performance on. Definitely invite me. I'll be out there within a drop of a hat. But
Sure.
But yeah, look, thank you very much for your time on here. If people want to reach out to you, do you have any forms of mediums where people can reach out to you, whether if they want to rehabilitate or, you do work in a rehabilitation place at the moment, yeah?
Yeah, I do. I do. It's called Elisha Care. You can check out elishacare.org. It's not really a deep peek into what we do. It's a little bit of a summary, but yeah, I mean, it's like, it's like who are the most broken people? Who are the most broken and the most teachable? Bring them to me.
Yeah.
I want to help the ones that are desperate. You know what I mean? I'm tired. I don't want to waste my time with people who want to play games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if anyone's serious and I don't care how far gone you are, you can look me up on Messenger, Joseph Biro on Messenger. I'm not on Facebook anymore, just for certain reasons, and that's cool. Everyone's different. And if you hit me up on that, I'll give you my number. We'll have a chat, and we'll either meet up or we can change numbers. And I'm happy to mentor anyone that is serious. You know what I mean? And I'll go as far as I have to go to help.
Oh, awesome.
And my wife as well. She's been through addiction too. So yeah, we're sold out for it, man. And we just want to see people set free. Want to see the captives set free, man.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah.
So look, so thank you very much for your time, for coming onto the show. To all my viewers out there, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button on the bottom right-hand side and hit the notification bell to hear about future episodes. And if you really enjoyed today's episode with Joey Biro, smash that like button. But from here with me, Neil Coutts and Joey Biro, thank you very much and have a good day.